Howdy hey, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Yafi and today I'm going to be showing you my Fakemon process, since you guys have been asking for it forever. But first we must explain what a Fakemon is. A Fakemon is a fake Pokemon. You should know what a Pokemon is, unless you're living under a rock. Pokemon is one of the highest grossing IPs of all time. It's what Pikachu is. Starting us off is the first stage of the process. Concept. Concepts aren't hard. If you scroll enough in Wikipedia, you'll find something. This concept is for my second region. Yes, I have finished Shanti, but I'm yet to make all the videos about it. So since my second region is Scandinavian, I searched up Norse stuff. And what could be more Norse than trolls? And I mixed that with Jotnars, both of which turned to stone in a day. And I mixed that with gargoyles, statues of flying bat-like beasts, and golems, which are made of stone. For the typing, I decided on Rock Fairy. Rock for obvious reasons, and Fairy because it's basically the fantasy type. Grimmsnarl, for example. Stage 2, Sketching. Sketching is basically just getting all of your ideas out onto your canvas. It's good to have a few goals while sketching. For this first stage, I wanted it to be frail in stature and look weak. For the brush, you can use anything. I used this modified version of a brush my friend Yokaiju gave me. A brush with the same name is coming up later, so here's the QR code. Change the name of the brush to whatever and come back, to not cause any confusion. For the colors, I select the outside of the line art with the bucket tool on the selection layer. This is the top layer, which is blue. This layer is for selecting stuff. Then I invert the selection and then I color it. For colors, I do whatever. I tend to use variations of the colors of my references. Keep the color hierarchy and have an accent color that pops. For this one, the accent color is teal. And tada! Here he is. You might be wondering where's the rendering process. Don't worry about that. We'll get to it in the rendering of the evolution. Frailum, the frail golem Pokemon. Frailum search for food all day. They're often harassed and bullied by other Pokemon for their small and frail stature. At first, I changed the canvas size to 2500 by 2500 pixels. So here's a sketch of the final stage, which I will start doing the line art for. For the line art, I used this brush that my friend Yokaiju sent me. There's two variations of this. The original, made by Yokaiju, which was meant for using with a stylus, and an adjusted one I made for people who draw with their fingers, like me. The one on the right is for stylus users and the one on the left is for finger users. A tip for Sugimori-esque line work is to use many consecutive lines instead of long swooping lines. But it's better practice to use long swooping lines for everything else. It's only for Sugimori line work that you have to use consecutive lines. After you finish the line work, decrease the size of your sketch. You could do that, or you could put the sketch in the reference window. Then you color pick the colors from your sketch to the layers under your line art. I use separate layers for each color just to be neat and tidy. For the shading of these rocks, I actually color picked from Rever Room, so I just color picked from Rever Room for the shading and highlights. But for the brush to do that effect, the bridge effect I call it, it's seen in a lot of Sugimori-esque and a lot of official Pokemon artworks. I use these 3 brushes, and I'll put them up on screen right now. To do the colors for the highlights, since I color pick from Rever Room, I just color pick the highlight colors from Rever Room too. To do the bridge method on these highlights, it's not actually a bridge. The bridge method on the shading is a lot cleaner, but the bridge method on the highlights is a lot rougher. So you use this broad brush I gave you, and then you go very rough. Don't go clean like the ones you did on the shading. For shading the colors, I didn't color pick from actual Pokemon. I used this color from Pheasantippedy's official artwork. It's what they use for the shading color, it seems. And I put that on a multiply clipping layer. You don't really have to turn down the opacity. For darker shading, I just darken down the shading color. For the highlights, I use an add layer on the clipping layer, and the opacity of the layer should be 20%. For the highlights, I do the same as what I said for the rocks. Keep it rough around the edges. And if you notice on Pheasantippedy's art, there's actually these bright points. They often use them in other Pokemon too. It's where the light focuses on the part of the design. For this, I use that watercolor smooth brush I gave you earlier, where I mentioned it would come up later. And that's the final result. Its name is Trollder. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Adios. Oh, and one more thing. I started doing commissions. You can commission me at this email. And bye.